Peace and love, great family. Peace. Peace, everybody. So I was thinking a little bit about some matters concerning Devin Haney, as he always seems to be such a topic among many different people throughout the boxing community. And, you know, some of the pervading discourse surrounding this young man just is, really, really, really funny to me, because you have the people who, seem to rock with Devin and know Devin and are akin to, his prowess and, are enjoying the remarkable journey that the young king is on. And there are others that kind of borderline, haters and, detractor kind of positions. And it made me, as I always tend to do, think about these particular perspectives surrounding Devin Haney. And I know that there are and have been a lot of belittling and snide comments made about Devin Haney. And this is on myriad levels, right? It isn't just, on one plane. It seems to kind of cover the full terrain and scope of Devin Haney. These type of projections, people love to talk and think up all sorts of outlandish, made up pretenses about the young man. So I find that to be very interesting. And one of the most consistent narratives surrounding Devin that hasn't faltered yet is the perspective of his supposed lack of power, right? That's something that we hear all the time circling about, even from fighters, and of course they come from, fighters who are his rivals, because certainly the people who have fought and faced Devin, even if they had previously had such perceptions, after facing him in the ring, of course, they changed their tune. But yes, Devin has fought for 135 for his entire career. And that is saying a lot, because you think about, of course, a growing young man staying at 135, especially of a particular build as Devin is. He's not, naturally a small man. He's naturally a bigger, heavier man. And so the fact that he managed to stay at 135 throughout his entire career up until this particular point is something definitely to take note of, and that it is only within the last 2 months that he has elevated himself to the 140-pound division. And interestingly enough, though Devin has quite a few knockouts on his resume, I mean, half of his wins have come by knockout, people still tend to parade, the notion around, that he lacks power. It's just, I don't get it. I think that a lot of the banter has to do with what I would say is an intimidation factor. Okay, Devin is certainly a fighter who has not only excelled by a phenomenal margin compared to that of his contemporaries, but he is doing it while being the youngest to accomplish such feats in the sport. And that is definitely something of notation in one's mind that they should definitely uphold. He's not only out competing his competition, but he's doing it at an age that is the youngest to have been done in the sport, okay? I think there isn't much what that one can say, about the rise of Devin Haney or his claim to, what I consider him to be right now, which is the top 3 in the entire sport of boxing. That's hands down. That's without question. Devin Haney is top 3. I would even posit top 2. But yes, top 3 when we consider, the likes of Terrence Crawford, Canelo, that would be above him. But, and those are the only 2 men that I would put above him if I were to do that. But from that perspective of all of these accomplishments and the way he's managing to do it and accomplish all of these acclamations, from that perspective, we can see how easy it is for the spinning of such narratives against his rise can begin to commence. And we can see how vehement these agendas can be, how bad they can want to portray him as anything other than the outstanding talent that he is, right? Heavy lies the crown type of approach is what I posit, the attribution is going towards. So with all of the notions surrounding his lack of power, right, quote, unquote, lack of power, I find it interesting that, we just watched Devin single-handedly take out one of the most notable punchers at 140. And that was with his victory, of course, against Regis Prograis back in December. Okay, so this lack of power took out the man with the most notable power at the 140 division. You got to wrap your head around that one and make it make sense to me, even though I doubt you could, right? Devin absolutely stultified him, made him submit, okay? Devin made Regis retract his aggressions, made him think twice and thrice about coming forward, and made him also think twice about doing the very thing that he is known to do, which is come forward with that power and that aggression. Okay? He was completely nullified. Okay? And all of this is coming from the supposed pillow-fisted Haney. Right? Regis Prograis is known for his ability to apply pressure to his opponents. That's what he's known for. He is a power puncher. That's what Prograis is. And Devin completely nullified his biggest weapon. And not only did he nullify it, he did it by enforcing his own power. So if Devin outpowered the power, then who is really the power puncher? That's a serious question there, y'all. Who's really the power puncher in that essence, in that situation? To outpower the power puncher. Come on, son. Could it be that little old Devin Haney is an absolute beast? I think that's exactly what the case is from this perspective. People don't want to attribute yet another dimension of greatness to Devin because he is already acclaimed for so many different things, right? So it's to say that in addition to all the other great things, powerful and being a power puncher that you need to be wary of on top of that is too much for his detractors to handle mentally. I think that's just too much for them to handle. Because okay, now we got to call him a power puncher. Now we have to give him a respect as a boxer puncher. Oh, Lord, the sky is falling. It's too much for them to handle, right? They feel like they must withhold something from this man. He can't possibly be all the smoke and all the fire that he acclaims himself to be, right? That's kind of the perspective and the approach that these people seem to take. And I just sit on the sidelines really giggling yes, he is all the smoke and all the fire that he says he is. And what of it? It's evident that a majority of these people hopping on the we hate Devin bandwagon, it's obvious that they're not too savvy, though, to the art of boxing and what breaking down your opponent means, okay? They have one way of looking at a fight in their mind, and it looks maybe something like a highlight that they've come across somewhere that they've seen, okay? And they have this standard and picture in their mind. And if a fight that they come across from someone doesn't fit that particular picture that they have in mind, then they become remiss, okay? They become impassive and negligent or dismissive of whatever a fight presents that doesn't fulfill that picture in their minds, which, to each his own. But what I find very interesting is that a lot of the general dialogue, and this is on a much broader level, a lot of the dialogue, seem to make these types of gestures towards black fighters, okay? There aren't half as many complaints, not even half as many complaints about people of other cultures who get called out in such a fashion or criticized in such a fashion for ending their fights without a knockout. There is not that criticism that goes around across the board, okay? It has become part and parcel these days to the black fighter, okay? There are no broadcastings, no real-time counts, put up on screens of how many times they clinched during a fight. That was only specific to Devin Haney. That was the first, and since then, it's been the last time that we've seen it. But the fact that they started a clinch motherfucking count during a live-action fight with a black male fighter says it all. It is not done to people of other cultures, and that's across the board. We can go on and on about those disparities, but I think I made the point very clear. With the dawning of Devin's fight with Ryan Garcia on April 20th, I'm interested in seeing what approach he'll take. He has an increasingly, strong hold on himself as a young man, especially this being his second fight at the 140 division. He's looking more comfortable. He has an absolutely marvelous team at his side, of course. At the head of it, Bill Haney, his father in training. He's a special coach and a trainer, and they obviously have a rhythm that has proven to be magical time and time and time again, and I don't think it'll be anything short of that come the 20th. Devin also works with the beast, an analytical genius that is Ben Davidson and the whole team and staff over there, based out in the UK. And, they've been working with Dev for years. Excuse me. It's actually the first time that I heard of Ben Davidson and looked into his training methods and his analytical prowess and became definitely smitten with his approach. He's wonderful. Ben Davidson is actually also training Anthony Joshua. He brought him to a stellar and spectacular victory at the last fight that he had in December. And of course, he'll be training him for the Ngannou fight. So that whole, academy over there is wonderful, and they are full of brilliant minds. And of course, that's Devin's team. So of course, I'm sure they're going to be bringing a lot of pressure to the scope of things for this fight with Devin. And things seem to be working well with Ben Davidson and Devin. I think I saw him mention in the MMA Hour podcast a little bit about Ben Davidson and the training methods and how pleased he is with him. So I can't wait to see what they bring to the table for the fight. Devin at the press conference looked super healthy. Like, he looked clear, he looked focused, he looked heavy, he looked great. And it's like, wow, I can't wait to see, what he does. Like, I'm just on the sidelines like a little schoolgirl, like, oh my God, what is Devin going to be doing? Like, how is he going to look in this fight? I can't wait to see, because he's been developing so much. And it's going to be a spectacular, spectacular performance. That I do not doubt. I have no doubt that he and his team are preparing for any and everything with Ryan. Like, anywhere that Ryan may want to take that fight, Devin will be waiting in eagerness, delight, and anticipation. And I posit that he's going to give him all of what he has with every bit of bad intention on it. And I can't wait. And interesting also about Ryan is that he is coming into this bout with no outside disadvantages, as he seemed to have been facing when he was fighting Tank last year, right? There, it's not a lick of a rehydration clause in sight. Right? He has no alleged injuries so far that we know of that have been mentioned. There's no drain, he's fighting at 140 as opposed to, everything is basically opposite to what he had to face with Tank. There are no clear or evident disadvantages in view for Ryan Garcia. So we are getting a healthy Ryan Garcia, which says a lot. And for that reason, there are no excuses. There are no excuses at hand to be had. So he should be coming into that ring full of gusto. I think that alone, that in and of itself makes the fight way more significant than the fight with Tank, to be honest, because there are no apparent excuses or shortcomings, that he has to, lean on as excuses as to why he wouldn't be able to perform at his absolute best on the night. you know. And when Devin gets the W, it's a much larger statement to be made to the world of boxing because there are no such excuses at the forefront. Okay? No such excuses. So the win will be much more significant, much, much, much larger a statement to be made when Devin gets the W. It's fabulous. Devin is all in, and I think he's going to do a demolition job and put up a hell of a masterclass performance on. I can't wait. You know, all of this is going to superimpose as well an inevitable mega fight between Devin and Tank Davis. At least it should. That's if Tank doesn't, you know, keep his infamous ducking rampage going on. You know, if Devin wins this fight, it's going to put an insurmountable amount of pressure on Tank Davis because people are like, okay, well, what's the excuse now? Because in reality, when Devin gets the victory against Ryan, it's going to even the playing field. You know, these two men will be head to head, neck and neck. There won't be this type of, tilting of the scale, leaning grossly towards Tank's side anymore. It would have leveled out completely when Devin gets this win because it's a significant win. And, you know, the A-side status can't really be up for debate at this particular point because, you know, they both have the leeway to make their calls and demands, you know, after April 20th when the statement is made by Devin Haney. So it's definitely interesting, you know, all the excuses and the A-sides and the ducking excuses that Tank will try to, you know, put pressure on and, you know, try to escape, you know, the hands of Devin Haney. He would have demolished all attempts at any excuse to get out of a potential mega fight between them. So hopefully we'll see that sooner than later, and it's not too much ducking. I can't wait. I really can't wait. I keep saying that, but it's so true. It's so much at stake, but in a good way, not in a stressful way. It's so much that's at stake because what is going to be determined in this fight is going to be an opening of the path that will solidify without question, without doubt, you know, who the real face of boxing is. And I'm excited. I'm excited for the young king who is embarking on claiming that victory and that crown for himself. So yes, we will see what unfolds, you guys. I've done enough rambling. On to the next. Peace.